Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into today's transfer news video, please go ahead and hit that big red button down below. We're trying to hit 9K as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Now, into the actual business. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit about more rumour than anything today. We're basically going to be doing a big update on all the rumours that have happened so far, or as many as I can find that have happened so far. We'll have a little talk about them, talk about the credibility, because obviously different sources, different credibilities, and sometimes things are just nonsense headlines. And we'll get into those a little bit, and then in the coming days and weeks of this January, we should then get some more detailed information on players that we might potentially be in the market for signing. So early one that we'll go in for then, one of the first ones that we were linked with was Conan Ledesma, who had been playing for Cadiz in the Spanish league, and I'm pretty sure as well this is the goalkeeper that currently plays for River Plate, and apparently there's nothing in it. Look, I think sometimes people get a little bit, I don't know, very Eurocentric in terms of their football and opinions and things like that. The leagues and the clubs and the whole atmosphere in Argentina is absolutely massive. If you're playing for River Plate, you're not probably going to want to come to the championship. Anyway, apparently this was a bit of a nonsense rumour anyway, just triggered by the fact that Meli had obviously had some issues with his performances of late. So there is potential that we might be in the market for a goalkeeper, but it doesn't look like it's going to be Conan Ledesma. One of the other things then is Louis Barry. Now, Louis Barry obviously is a Villa player, but he spent a loan last season. I think it was at Stockport County. He did really, really well there. A bag full of goals and assists. Leeds are interested, apparently. Leeds are interested. This is on leedslive.co.uk. As again, not necessarily the most reliable source, but he has been linked. There's an understanding that Leeds might be interested in somebody like Louis Barry, 21-year-old midfielder, bags and bags of potential. Could do Leeds a really good job. He wants that next step in terms of his development. Now, the kicker is that apparently Celtic are interested. So if Celtic are interested, there's probably a bigger kind of sway for him to go there than to go to Leeds. But what I will say is, whilst if it was a permanent deal that he was looking for, yeah, Celtic's a no-brainer, potentially Champions League football, that sort of thing as well. But if it was a loan deal, you might be more tempted to go to somebody like Leeds, because you are not necessarily more in the public eye, but you're in a league where Premier League clubs are going to be looking back down. Aston Villa keeping tabs on him and stuff. And I think he's more likely to get more game time for Leeds, with a chance to then go up to the get promoted to the Premier League, which is great to have on his CV. So maybe it's not such a straightforward decision as someone might think if it's just a loan move, but Louis Barry would be a great signing. Next one came about earlier in the window was Mergim Berisha, who played for Hoffenheim and apparently was at one point a target of Jesse Marsch's. I think he scored 1 goal in his last 17 league games, which, I mean, you can't write it, can you? But actually someone can write it, because apparently this is false and Leeds have no interest in the striker from Hoffenheim, and it was one that just kind of got lumped with a load of kind of other rumours, basically, and apparently there's absolutely nothing to it, so we don't need to worry about that one. One of the other things then is that Charlie Crew. Now, Charlie Crew and Joffy look like they might be heading out. Joffy to Hull City, maybe on a loan, maybe on a permanent, but Charlie Crew looks like it might be a Doncaster Rovers loan deal. Now, when we saw the FA Cup game against Harrogate, I looked at the bench and thought, that's a very strong bench, and there's no youth players really in the starting lineup or bench. So you kind of expecting, I know Joffy's not a youth player, but you're expecting Joffy, Charlie Crew, maybe James DeBio as well, and a few of those other youngsters who maybe made some appearances in pre-season. I would expect that they might go out and get loan deals and get some experience elsewhere, which I don't think is a bad thing considering the squad depth that we've got at the moment. I think that's a good thing for them to get out. So hopefully they get out on loan and do really, really well for the clubs that they go to. Next one that I think a few Leeds fans were a little bit excited about was Emmanuel Latte-Lath from Borough. Of course, he scored a bag full of goals this season. He's scored quite a few over the last couple of years. Leeds apparently have now decided not to pursue him. There's been a £16 million offer from Atlanta United in the United States in the MLS. So Leeds look like they're going to kind of go cold on that one. Whether they were fully interested to start with, I don't know, but he would have been a good signing. And especially because that brings us on to our next thing with the fact that I don't think Mateo Joseph has scored since October. Joel Peru is basically our only striker because Bamford keeps getting injured. And apparently John Eustace has confirmed that he does have interest in Patrick Bamford going to Blackburn Rovers. So there could be a potential that we see Patrick Bamford leave this month for Blackburn Rovers, which then would allow Leeds to bring in another striker, which is why we've been linked with Mergim Berisha and why we've been linked with Emmanuel Latte-Lath, which it's going to be neither of. So the fact that we're very quiet on a striker front at the moment is a little bit worrying if Bamford is going to leave. So we need to just keep a little eye out on that one. And hopefully, if Bamford does go, I can start looking at strikers who I think would be a great replacement and who are in that kind of realistic margin for us to be able to buy. Because of course, Joel Peru was not cheap. He was £12 million, and he obviously was the championship top scorer. So I don't think we're going to be buying someone to replace Peru. I think we're going to be buying a backup, so a little bit cheaper than maybe what you might expect. Next one is that Wilfried Gnonto, apparently Leeds United are ready to accept significant transfer bid for Wilfried Gnonto amid Saudi talk. Now, for a start, Leeds didn't let Gnonto go to Everton for, was it 25 million in the end? I think, or it was upwards of that, and they didn't eventually meet that Everton, who, by the way, is now getting David Moyes back, I think. But Leeds, it would have to be a big bid. It would have to be a big bid for Leeds to accept Wilfried Gnonto leaving at this point in the season when he is a really good player and really useful for us. So apparently, yeah, Saudi teams are the only ones who might dish out for that. If we just click on this, I think, yeah, look, I think people are saying this is not true. Again, this is by Leeds Live, so we don't know the kind of credibility of it totally. But there is that rumour, so just to make you aware of it. And then the last one, which does excite me a little bit, which, look, this is from lufcmot.com, so I'm not sure the credibility of this either, but I'd like to believe it because Bali Mumba is someone that we've been linked with. Leeds are taking a close look at Plymouth fullback Bali Mumba. Apparently LUFC scouts were in attendance on Saturday when Plymouth Argyle beat Brentford. Now, I've said for a couple of seasons now that I really like what Bali Mumba is about. I like the way he plays. I like the way he goes past people. When we were playing against them, he was their only kind of bright spark who looked like anything might happen. And the fact he plays at fullback a lot of the time, he can play on the wing as well, but the fact he plays fullback a lot of the time does it does give you a little bit of hope that he could be a really, really good player. I like Bali Mumba. I like what he's about. I like the way he plays. I like his kind of intent to go forward, his ability to go past someone. I think he's great. I'd love to sign Bali Mumba. I don't know how much truth there is in this one, but we'll have to keep an eye out and see what happens, because for me, Bali Mumba would be an excellent signing. I think he'd be absolutely top class for us. But having said that, that is the rumour mill, basically. That is everything that I've heard so far this January. Obviously, not everybody's on social media, and etc., etc., so you don't necessarily see all these things. So this is like your one-stop shop for all the rumours so far. And if there's something concrete and something solid, then I'll make a video on that as well. So make sure you stay subbed, you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.